The current literature around moral vegetarianism does not argue that there is nothing intrinsically wrong with the consumption of an animal's already dead meat, but it has other reasons for why we shouldn't eat meat. So the moral vegetarian instead argues that in our society, the normative industry producing meat is wrong due to the mistreatment of animals being spawned only to fatten them up and slaughter them. So, number one, meat is typically produced wrongfully. In our society, we treat animals with abuse. They're farmed in factories. There's a lot of problems with, in how it affects workers, and stuff like that. There's a lot of wrongs in the industry. Number two, purchasing the meat from the animals bears some responsibility for the animals being mistreated on factory farms. Eating and purchasing bears some responsibility for the wrongful production because you're giving money back to the industry. So you're continuing the cycle of abuse. You're part of the problem at that point. And so therefore, our standard practice of eating meat supports the wrongful production. It's wrong because the usual production of it, which is bad, we're supporting that. So we shouldn't be eating or purchasing meat. So this argument has a lot of merit because oftentimes animals are treated awfully, suffering from diseases, never seeing sunlight or grass, and then they're just killed off and butchered up and served to us at McDonald's. Now, in Nick Zangwill's essay, Our Moral Duty to Eat Meat, a very different opposing viewpoint of the vegetarian argument, obviously, he lays out an interesting argument that many do not think about. He says that animal farming is the reason that domesticated animals exist, that it can actually benefit domesticated animals. Because if you think about it, farms are the ones that are giving these animals food. They're giving them shelter from the elements, from the cold. They're giving them protection from predators, putting a fence around them, keeping them together. They're giving them a nice pasture to roam in. Mostly. So, right, Nick does state that this only works that if the animals are living a good life, and they are not abused or just pumped out specifically for their meat, and they did live, he uses the term a lot, a good life, and it's very important that they are living a good life. Now, the second one, purchasing meat of well-lived animals gives good lives to more animals. We're supporting the industry. Same thing with, it's the same. It's almost the exact same premise as number two. In the vegetarian argument, is that by giving meat or by buying meat and eating meat, we're supporting the meat industry, obviously. But where these differ is that is whether or not the meat industry is good to animals. And then, so Nick concludes with, we should eat meat, therefore, because it is better for animals. It, farms animals and, but this only works if the meat industry improves the animals' lives, giving them great lives. But the meat industry, most of where it's at right now, would not meet this standard of giving animals good lives. But if you can buy, you got to check your sources of where you're buying your meat. Basically, that's the defense of meat. Thank you.